Welcome to Master 2255 English Phrasal Verbs, complete course with 150 categories for fluency. This course is here to guide you in mastering English phrasal verbs for every context. Today, we're exploring the 74th category, political and activism phrasal verbs. Speak up for change. These verbs are vital for discussing political movements, activism, and efforts for change. Let's dive in. First, let's begin with stand up for. This phrasal verb means to defend or support a cause, idea, or person. For example, she stood up for workers' rights during the protest, or it's important to stand up for what you believe in. Next is speak out. This refers to expressing an opinion, often to oppose something unjust. You might say the activist spoke out against corruption, or he spoke out about the need for climate action. Call for describes demanding or requesting action or change. For instance, the group called for immediate government reform, or they are calling for better healthcare policies. Back up means to support someone or something with evidence or assistance. You could say, the senator backed up her claims with research, or he backed up the proposal during the meeting. Turnout refers to people attending an event such as a protest or rally. For example, thousands turned out for the march, or the event turned out to be a huge success. Step down means to resign or leave a position of power. You might hear, the mayor stepped down after public pressure, or she stepped down to allow fresh leadership. Take over describes assuming control or responsibility. For instance, the new leader took over the campaign for equality, or he plans to take over the committee next month. Bring about means to cause or create change. You could say the movement brought about significant policy reforms, or her efforts brought about awareness of the issue. Break out refers to something starting suddenly, like a conflict or protest. For example, protests broke out across the city after the announcement, or a heated debate broke out during the session. Run for describes seeking election to a position. You might say he decided to run for city council, or she announced her plan to run for governor. Cut back on means to reduce something, often spending or resources. For instance, the government is cutting back on education funding, or activists are fighting cuts to social programs. Vote down refers to rejecting a proposal or law through voting. You could say, the council voted down the controversial bill, or the amendment was voted down by a narrow margin. Push through describes making sure a proposal or law is accepted, often despite challenges. For example, they pushed through the new legislation quickly, or the activists worked hard to push through reforms. Call off means to cancel something, like a meeting or demonstration. You might hear, the rally was called off due to bad weather, or they called off the negotiations after a disagreement. Finally, step up describes taking initiative or responsibility to address an issue. For instance, she stepped up to lead the campaign for education reform, or the group is stepping up their efforts to raise awareness. These phrasal verbs are essential for discussing political and social movements, as well as activism. Practice using them in conversations about leadership, change, and advocacy, and they'll soon become a natural part of your vocabulary. Keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next lesson.